Hey everyone, welcome back to Pseudotech. Today I'm going to be showing you CPIO, which is a Java library that I've been developing for the past little bit that allows you to use Java very simply and easily to give GPIO access on a chip. Now, CPIO is by no means finished, but it's kind of a work in progress that I'm fairly happy where it's at right now. As you can see on the GitHub, I have it at version 1.0. It's working as expected as far as I can tell, and there aren't really any bugs. It's fairly simple, so there aren't really going to be many bugs in the first place. But it's good enough that I feel comfortable just showing you what's out there and allowing you to use it. So go ahead and check out the GitHub page. You're welcome to fork it and stuff like that. I'll be updating it somewhat frequently. I'm currently working on adding some things in the development branch, which you can check out right here. And in the development branch, I have a thing that should allow it to work on all of the chip kernels. There's a couple of kernels available, and they all use slightly different commands for the way that it accesses the GPIO. Currently in the development branch, I have one that should detect that and set the default base for like the number base accordingly. I don't have a chip flash with a couple of different kernels right now, so I'm gonna have to do that in the future to make sure it's all working before it goes to the master. But anyway, the master should be working. There are a couple of other options that are admittedly probably better and more usable than the one that I've developed. Unfortunately, they're a bit trickier to implement, and I prefer CPIO because it's just very simple to use, as it just uses a simple object for a pin, and you can change it to read and write, and it just allows you to interact with the GPIO pins as if you were doing it from a terminal, but then of course you can program with it. So let's take a quick look at what's actually going on here. As you can see, a whole bunch of imports. I have a fair bit of Javadoc for each of the methods, which are all fairly simple, so hopefully if you want to change something, which you're totally welcome to do, that'll help you out just figuring out how everything works. It pretty much works by using this method that I created, exec, which is right down here. And this uses some scanners and process builders to basically send a command to a new terminal and then use a scanner to scan in the input by using getInputStream for the process. There are some better ways to do this, such as using the built-in Java methods, or not built-in, but available Java methods for writing, reading, and writing to a text file, but I implemented this first, and it just kind of works, and I actually need to use it anyway to do a few things for what I'm working on in the development branch, which you can check out. But yeah, that's why I haven't switched over to like the regular Java version, since this works just fine. So here's a test.java file that I have just written up real quick to demonstrate all of the functionality that I'll be running in just a moment. As you can see, the main way that you interact with the GPIO pins is just an object. So it's a CPIO object, which you obviously get from the CPIO class. And I'm calling it P7. You can call it, of course, whatever you want. New CPIO. The constructor is fairly simple. First, you want the name of the pin. And this is actually just using substring to get the last character, which should be the number. So that way you can input XIO-P7 or -P6 or whatever, which is, I guess, kind of the more formal name because there's a couple of pins on the chip that have different names and stuff like that. The point is, it only uses the last one, so you can use that, the full name, or you can just use the number. Just whichever works. Of is not actually correct input, so it defaults to in, but you could usually do in or out to get the default input. This is just to demonstrate that it works. Anyways. So now I'm going to go ahead and run it. Let's get this back to normal. Windows. There we go. So if I just do Java test, then as you can see it's defaulting to in as it does here. It just prints that out. So pin on, and as you can see in the camera, as you should be able to see, yep, you can see the LED right here is on. If I hit enter, it's just waiting for my input here with the in.next line. Doesn't do anything. It'll write 0 to the pin, and as you can see, it has just turned off. I can say pin off. It'll wait again, and then it'll start reading from the pin. If I just do this, if I keep on printing enter, it'll read from the pin continuously. So let's go ahead and switch this up with a jumper cable so that we can get the actual, again, this is 1, and then when we connect it to a ground, just like that, it switches to 0. So that's fairly simple input. And then lastly, we can just type something to exit out. So that's about it. You can run the test program if you'd like. The main thing that you're going to need is the cpio.java class, which you can get here and just pop it in your program directory. Simple drag and drop to set up, and you should be off to the races. Anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments. You know where they are. And if you'd like to develop a bit more on CPIO, feel free to submit any pull requests or issues that you find at the GitHub, which my GitHub is github.com/sudo-tech, because someone took pseudotech before me. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.